Hello and welcome to our next episode in the mobile app redesign for developers live series. We are always welcomed by our special guest, Brandon Minnick.
Hey, Luis. Happy Friday.
Hey, happy Friday. How's the week been for you and how's everything going today?
Yep. Can't really complain. It was kind of a quiet week for me. There was lots of training stuff going on for my team at Microsoft this week. And so,
Oh,
um,
nice.
got to choose which trainings we wanted to go to. But most of all, it meant that there wasn't any meetings, there wasn't any action items from those said meetings. And so, pretty nice. And then a couple days to just kind of focus on me, focus on stuff I need to catch up on. But yeah, it's a good week. How's yours?
Yeah, mine was I would say good. Last part of it, the first part, it was really cold here in Florida. I got kind of sick the first few days. That's why we had to postpone Wednesday. But I'm back on my feet, and yeah, I think the weekend is gonna be even better.
Nice. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you sound good. So
yeah.
sounds like you're doing better.
Yeah, so I saw a few emails in my Hotmail, which I have linked to my GitHub, and I saw someone was doing some work in the Git Trends project. So I want to see what updates you have for us and what were you playing around with.
Oh man. Let's see. First of all, I'm gonna raise my seat up a little bit. I know I'm
Yep.
a little low on camera today. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me share my screen,
Okay.
and I'll show you all the goodies we have now.
All right. I think I have your screen up now. Yep. There it is.
Yeah. So if we go into the about page, boop. Look at that.
Wow.
um,
Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, so it's still, still needs a lot of cleanup. So there's a lot of things like I marked these descriptions incomplete. You can also just see how they're being truncated and the spacing's terrible. But yeah, I did a ton of work recently, or I guess over the past week, with getting real data in here. And it was not super easy because a lot of this data has to come from GitHub. And so
Yep.
all this data, like the number of people watching, stars and forks, all of the contributors, all the libraries, this is all, well, I should back up. We have two options here, really. With the with all this data, we could either hard code it and we could make sure to manually update it before every release. And so, there's definitely a world where, we just hard coded this data, and that would probably be fine because it's not like the number of stars that GitTrends has goes up by 100 every week. Like maybe there's a
Yep.
couple stars in between releases. Same with forks and the collaborators. Technically, we could argue that we shouldn't show the collaborators until the release comes out with their code anyways. So why not just hard code that? And same with the libraries. Like why should we share libraries before uh, we're using them in a released version of the app? Um, but I chose to go the other route, which was definitely more work upfront. But I think it'll no, I know it will save us a lot of time in the long run, where all of this is dynamically updated. And so the next question was like, well, how do you do that? Right?
Yeah.
Because there's a couple things going on in this app. We've got this app initialization service, and this is code that runs when the app is first launched. And so there's things like, let's see. So all these services, we have to initialize Syncfusion because Syncfusion requires a license to use it. Otherwise, they display this pop-up. This is like, warning, this app is using an invalid license. So before the splash screen goes away, I have the app call an API that I wrote to retrieve the Syncfusion license. And the onboarding chart, that is the video that displays on like the welcome screens that shows like how you use the chart. And so I figured, why not make that a URL that's dynamic? So if I want to update the video, which I probably should do now that we have more features in the app, but if I want to update the video, I don't need to push out a whole new release. I can just kind of change it on the back end. And so all this stuff actually initializes when the app launches. And so specifically, if we go into our Xamarin.forms application, in that constructor is where I call this task. And I'm using the save, fire, and forget library that I wrote a couple years ago that runs a task on a background thread while still awaiting it. Long story short, don't just say task.run because bad things happen. You should always await your tasks. But sometimes you want to kick off a task in the constructor, and you don't really care when it finishes, or maybe you just want to kick off a task in general and you don't need to wait for it to finish. So yeah, we call this initialize app method, and that spins up all these initializations. So things like we check what language your device is using. We check to see if you have push notifications enabled. We set the theme to be light theme or dark theme. And then there's all these other services that require APIs. And so what I ended up doing, I created this Git Trends statistics service. And if we jump into here, there's not a whole lot going on. It's basically just a bunch of properties like GitHub URI, stars, watchers, and you can kind of start to see like this is where the data is stored that we're displaying on the About page. And so if you're familiar with Xamarin Essentials, this is just using Xamarin Essentials preferences to store the values to disk. So when I say preferences.get, that'll check or look for a file called GitHub URI on the disk. Mm-hmm. And if it finds it, great, it'll give me that. If not, I told it to give me null. And same thing with all these. So stars, watchers, forks, and then same with contributors. And what we're doing is basically just calling the GitHub API to get all this info. So I have this Git repository method on our GitHub API v3 service. So I'm just calling and saying, give me the repository for Git Trends, and then also give me all the contributors for it. We run these in parallel, so that's why I'm just spinning up the tasks and then saying task.winAll. But when they're done, then we can say, give me the star count, the fork count, the watchers count, the GitHub URI for it, and then also same with the contributors. And so that's how we can populate all this data. And nice. That wasn't too bad. Like this is pretty straightforward because GitHub has all this info. GitHub has free APIs. I mean, that's how this whole stinking app works, right? We're like, this app just exists to call the GitHub APIs.
Yeah.
But the real hard part was this data right here. So what libraries are we using in Git Trends so that we can, give them the accolades they deserve, shout out these libraries, and then also be able to share these with the world. So for example, if you see this and you say like AutoFac, what's that? You can tap on it and it'll take you to the Nuget URL. And so you can read about it here and go down the rabbit hole into seeing, maybe why I'm using or chose to use the libraries that we're using. But
really, I like you haven't started talking about how you implemented this libraries part, but I'm already really curious. And could you just tell us a bit about what was the approach you did? Did you went serverless? What did you use there? So before getting into that, I just wanna say hi to our fellows in the chat. I see Ricardo is there saying, hey guys. He's always a loyal one with us there. And we also have Faisa saying hello. So yeah, hi guys and welcome. And Now
Yeah,
we're gonna
thanks for
see
coming back.
how, yeah. Now we're gonna see how Brandon created all this awesome backend for the libraries.
Oh yeah, so this was really the more difficult one because I wanted to make sure this just updated automatically, and because otherwise every time we add a NuGet package going down the road, we'll have to remember to update the value, and that's hard coded in the app. So I didn't want to have to do that. And so what I first thought of was, why don't I do something like I'm doing with Syncfusion. So for Syncfusion, I really hate how they do this. I understand the rationale behind it, but as a developer, it's really painful. Syncfusion links your license to a version of the NuGet package. So every time you update the NuGet package, you have to generate a new license key, which is a lot of overhead. And really, what it ends up doing is it means just I don't update the Syncfusion NuGet package. Like, look at that. It's this one, and I haven't updated xamarin.forms yet, but like this one's still many versions behind.
Oh my god.
So the solution I came up for this was I'll store these license keys in the cloud. That way I don't have to commit them to my source code. The app's all open source. That would be bad if other people were using my license, even though it's a free license. I'm just on the community license for Syncfusion, but anyway, so what I'm doing is I'm actually just checking the version of Syncfusion. And so we can do that using reflection. We can say assembly.getAssembly. I can pass in one of these Syncfusion libraries that's part of this NuGet package. I can say git name. And then finally, I can say, give me the version. And that was able to work for Syncfusion. So that always returns the version. So in this case, 18.3.0.35. And then for the Syncfusion initialization, I actually ping an API that I set up on the backend and say, hey, I'm using this version number. Give me the API key for that. So this way we can have users on all sorts of different versions of Git Trends. Maybe you haven't updated yet, and you'll still get a valid API key. So my first thought with finding these libraries was to do something similar. I was like, well, why don't I just, I'll write some code that iterates over all the assemblies that I'm using. I can get their version numbers, and then Nuget has APIs, and I can call the Nuget APIs and say just, hey, give me the package info, right? Like give me the URL for the Nuget landing page for this Nuget package. Give me the icon, give me the title or the description, blah, blah, blah. And the idea was great in theory, but turns out that your assembly name does not have to match the name of your NuGet package. And so I actually wrote a bunch of code. I was able to iterate over all the assemblies, and I got them back. And when I first looked at this list, like there was a bunch of NuGet packages that were missing. I was like, that's weird. What's going on? And it was just little things like, what's a good example? Where is it? There we go. So plugin.storeReview. This is actually new to Git Trends, but also kind of new to the world. So this is a library that James Montemagno wrote. Highly recommend it because it's a cross-platform library that uses the native APIs to display that review request to the user. So if you've ever been on Android or iOS and like the pop-up appeared, it was like, and it's not a custom pop-up, it's the OS pop-up that says, like, would you like to review this app? Give it 5 stars. You can tap 5 stars, submit, boom. You don't have to leave the app, and you've submitted your review. Great. But the Nuget package is called plugin store review, whereas the actual library is the assemblies in the app. Let's see, what are we using? Oh, shoot, it is called plugin store review. Dang, bad example. Anyways, a couple of these NuGet packages, the title of the NuGet package didn't match the assembly name because it doesn't have to. And so what ended up happening was I iterated over all the assemblies. I got their version numbers. I used the Nuget APIs to get the information. But for about half of them, Nuget was like, no, that Nuget package doesn't exist. I'm like, dang it. So it was like, then what? And I was like, well, the code is all open source. Like it all lives on GitHub. And again, GitHub has APIs. So it's like, what if I just parse each CS proj file that exists on the main branch? And so that's what I ended up doing. So I ended up creating this API in Azure Functions called, well, I guess there's two functions going on here. So one is a timer trigger, because I didn't want every time the app hit this API for then the API to call the Nuget APIs. So I wanted to have something cached in my API, in my Azure Functions, in my cloud. So what I do is once a day. So that's what this is, a timer trigger. Timer triggers are like cron jobs. You can schedule them to run as frequently as you want. So you can say, run once a minute, run once an hour, run once a day, run every Sunday at 7 a.m., whatever you want. So I told this to run every day at midnight GMT. And this retrieves all the Nuget packages from Git Trends. Let's see, if I go into here, I created this Nuget service. Actually, probably most importantly, I needed to point it to the CS proj paths. So I did have to hard code those, but I hard coded them as environment variables. So I can go in and update these anytime if for some reason we update our architecture or our folder structure. With that, and then that way I don't have to update the backend at all. But yeah, what this does is it gets all those CS proj files. Where are we here? So this hits the GitHub API to figure out the basically the Git Trends file. So the GitHub API works where you can pull down any file you want. So GitHub responds back with this repository file. Let's see if I can show this off here. So when you talk to the GitHub API, you can say, give me information about this file. And then what it will do, it'll return a download URL. And once you have that URL, then you can just download the file as a string. So I download that file, and that's step one. So we got all our CS proj files. Oh, actually, did I skip CS proj, good thing. Where are we? Oh, we're parsing it up here. So git Nuget package names. I see. I put it in line. So then once I have that file, I can parse it. And so I'm using the system.xml.link libraries to parse it, because a CS proj file is just a bunch of XML. So I can look for all the package references. I can get their values. And then once I have that, then I can use the Nuget API. So that's where this Nuget.protocol Nuget package comes in. And that allows me to pass in the name of the Nuget package, and I can call this get metadata async. So I just pass in the package name, and then it'll return back it gives you a list of the metadatas, which is it's fine, but it gives you all the version numbers. So I just get the newest version. I grab its icon, I grab its the URL or the URI for it, and then we save that. So basically, once a day, we're caching all that information on the back end using this timer trigger. And then when the app launches, when it initializes, and it runs that app initialization logic, all it has to do is go to, the app hits this API, but the API is just pulling our Nuget libraries from our Blob storage. So this method here uses Azure Blob storage to just get all the blobs for our library container and parses those back. So it gives us the latest version from the cache. And so that ended up being a ton of work. I thought at first I was like, this won't be too bad because I already know how to like iterate over assemblies and get their version numbers and get the names of the assemblies. And then I'll just use the Nuget APIs and happy days. But like one thing after another, man. And then the reason this is all on the back end, I think it makes a lot of sense now. It's definitely going to be the most performant way to do it. I originally had a lot of this still running on the app on the phone. And the blocker I hit there was the Nuget library. So that Nuget package, Nuget Protocol, it tries to, and it does cache all the libraries that it finds. So just like on our computers, right? Like, there's a whole Nuget cache, and pro tip, you should probably delete that folder at least once a year because it ends up being like hundreds of megs. But yeah, what Nuget does, every time it pulls down a Nuget package for Visual Studio, it caches that file locally, and it's supposed to help for when you have like connectivity problems, but it doesn't really work great. Like I've been on planes and just sat there like for like 3 minutes waiting for this Nuget package to return. But yeah, so on the mobile app, it was trying to cache the packages as well. And this Nuget.protocol Nuget package has no idea how mobile apps work or mobile devices work. And so I got all this code working. It was working in the mobile app. I ran it on the simulator. Everything showed up fine. Like it just looked beautiful like this. And then I pushed it to my phone because pretty much every time I commit new code to GitTrends, I'll just also push the app to my phone so then I can run it. Like I use the app myself every day to check up on my GitHub repos. And so the hope is I'll find bugs if something's weird going on. And yeah, after I pushed it to the phone, like there was no libraries, like nothing existed here. I'm like, that's not right. Like something like, let me clear the bin and obj folders. Like something's not right. Because all this code works, and started drilling down into it. And I kept getting this exception from the Nuget, the Nuget protocol Nuget package, the Nuget. And it was like unable to access system directory. And then it gives like on the iPhone, it's like /var/ blah, 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 /GUID. I'm like, yeah, no shit, because you don't have privilege outside of the file structure for this app. Like that's the way iOS and Android works. Each app is a user. And so each user has a certain level of privileges, and they can't go access other app files because they're not those users. And so like, yeah, once I figured that out, I tried a bunch of different things. I tried to figure out how to disable the caching, just couldn't figure it out. And a big part of that is the documentation sucks for this. And so,
I would say that's actually an important point you found there. Like, I would say it's one of the gotchas when you're trying to work with storing local files in the device, and maybe your app is generating PDFs and you want to store it somewhere to then do something with it, like upload it somewhere, right? So I was recently working on a project where they was having also this problem with like storing basically documents in the device. And before, Android actually allowed you to store files. Like before Android API 19, you could actually store some files in the root directory of the device.
That doesn't sound safe.
Yeah. So after API 19, they did the architecture decision of, hey, we're only gonna restrict it, as you said, to if your app is adding something, only add it to the app folder, because that helps the operating system to maintain everything clean, right? If I uninstall that app, everything you have associated to that app should also get deleted from the device. So that was the issue that they were having before, that some apps were deleted, and all this file would just be orphaned on the device, and they would never be deleted unless they clear their storage, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I think it's a good takeaway for our attendees now, that to know, hey, you have to respect the file structure, and if you're gonna create something, make sure you're pointing to the right path, or you're gonna get this exception.
Yeah, and I think the most frustrating thing for me was, like I said a second ago, the documentation is just,
Yeah.
it's tough to even say it's bad. It's non-existent, if I'm being honest. Because I think it was written. I think this was actually written in a different language, and then they didn't port it. They wrapped it and brought it to C Sharp. Because when I
Okay.
go to the Nuget, Nuget's GitHub repo,
The nuggets.
yes, because I was like, all right, well, if I can drill into the source code, then I can figure out where this cache is being stored, and it's probably a setting that I can configure. Because what I was thinking is, I can use Xamarin Essentials, just like we do with the databases, right? We tell it where to store our database, and I can just, with Xamarin Essentials, in one line of code, say, put it in the app data directory, and that's it. And that's like all we have to do. And so I was like, if I could just tell it the directory where I wanted to put the cache, happy days. But couldn't figure it out. Like I said, the Nuget source code for this Nuget package was just ended up being wrappers. So I imagine they probably wrote it in something like C++, probably since it was a native Windows app. But yeah, so the good news is we got it all working. The better news is this is all automatic now. So if somebody watching this stream right now were to open a pull request, commit it to Git Trends, and we approved it, you're going to show up here right away. Or as we're working on the current version, like this version we're working on is going to be version 2.1, those libraries will appear here right away. So it'll be really nice in the long run. And yeah, it was a little bit more work than just hard coding, but this is kind of the ethos of this app, right? It's an open source app. It's we have people from the community contributing tons and tons of code to it. We have tons and tons of libraries that we're using for it, and so celebrating these people, these contributors, these libraries is kind of our goal from the beginning. And so it's nice that not only will they add in automatically, but we don't have to wait for the next version of the app to come out. And like, as soon as you commit, you can see your name pop up here and show it off to all your friends.
Yeah. And it's as you say, like, this is such a organic repo that it's evolving every day. This section actually needed it to be, even if at the first we thought maybe not, let's just do it static. This is, I think, the solution that it needed, because as you said, it changes too much, and this was gonna be a headache for us in the future if we left it static, because we were had to continuously come into here just to add someone that contributed and release a new build, which is like totally counterintuitive when you're trying to do this type of apps, right?
Yeah.
So
And
I really like your solution. When you show it to me at the DMs and Twitter, I was like crazy about it. But I even seen the code, I was like, wow, that was a lot of work, and I think it was really well executed.
Thanks.
Yeah.
It's basically my whole Saturday.
Yeah.
Or maybe, yeah, I think it was Saturday, sometime over the weekend. But the other thing I added, and I should have done this a long time ago, is this request a feature. Yeah, you need to be signed in. So let me just show it here in Safari. So on GitHub, you can actually have templates for your issues. And
Nice. We have templates now.
We got templates now. So
Yay!
when anybody says new issue, it goes, great. Is this a bug report or a feature request? And so,
nice.
So it's a little annoying because you have to be logged into GitHub to submit the feature request. But this page here is the page that appears when anybody taps this button. And
Nice.
this page, yeah, it's asking me to log in right now, but that's the same page or the same login that pops up when I say connect to GitHub.
Yeah.
Let's see. So assuming,
Yeah, assuming if you're logged in into your GitHub account already, this
Right.
page should not pop up, right? The login.
yeah. So like when you connect to GitHub, you have to log in here, and then your session's saved in this was SF Safari View Controller, something like that.
Yeah.
And so the next time you connect, like if you were to disconnect, reconnect to GitHub, that session would already be saved. So the cookie will just log you back in. And the same
Nice.
thing should happen with request feature. Unless you've, and I don't think you can on iOS delete that cookie, but on Android, you can go to Google Chrome and clear your browsing history. But yeah, man, all this works. It's totally functional. We just need to clean it up.
Yeah. Yeah, we just need to work a little bit more on that design, get it up to the specs we have on the Adobe XD project. And I think we are probably done with this section. Oh, I see some messages here in the chat. I see Eddie just joined the stream. He's saying hi. Welcome, Eddie. And we also have Time Bender. He's asking, is this code available on GitHub? And yes, this
sure
project is completely open source, which is what like one of our main perks, right? It's it's a project done completely in xamarin.forms, the latest version, and done with the backend completely in Azure. So make sure I put the link in the chat. Make sure to go over there, and if you have any ideas you would like to share with us, we've been redesigning this app since like early last year, and now we are all the way down in version 2.0. We're trying to add some new features, and yeah, welcome to the stream, and I hope you really enjoy what we're gonna be doing today. So yeah, Brandon. Now we should, I think, go back to the Adobe XD project and or the screenshots, and let's see and compare the simulator version with the mockups we have, and let's see what needs to be retouched.
And I'm going to bring it up here on the smaller device as well, because I did think ahead a little bit. So you'll notice, oh, nope, this is actually not considered a small enough screen. On actual small devices, there will only be one row for this libraries collection.
You already added the code for that, right?
Yep. Yeah, and it's just leveraging code we written before, and I drew a line in the sand at it's 340 points or pixels. So if the width of the screen is less than 340, and it sounds kind of arbitrary, but when I did it, actually, we'll just show this off. About page. Whew, I opened up a lot of files. So go down to the collection. There you go. So this is small screen. So if it is a small screen, we just say it's a linear items layout, which means one row going horizontal. But if it's not, then we can do two rows going horizontal.
Nice.
But this is small screen. I evaluated a bunch of screen sizes specifically against their density. And that's because, you'll hear me say points a lot instead of pixels, because as developers, if we tell iOS that this should be 10 pixels by 10 pixels, on certain phones, iOS adds a multiplier. So it'll say, oh, you're using the iPhone 11 Pro Max. I'm actually going to make that 30 pixels by 30 pixels because there's a 3x multiplier. So yeah, that's why we just say points now. Points is kind of like the base pixel. But yeah, I looked up a bunch of different screen sizes. So like the iPhone 8 had a density of 375, or a width density, I guess I should say. The iPhone 11 was 414. And then on the Android side, like the Galaxy S5, the Galaxy Nexus were 360. And those were a couple of the devices that were tripping us up back when we were working on version 1, that like everything looked great on the devices we were testing on, like your Pixel, my iPhone 11 Pro Max. But then, yeah, pulling it up on a device like the Nexus was like, oh, that doesn't look so great. So yeah, 360 seems a little random, but there was some research behind it. And it's really not too bad to say, like, just one little if check. And hopefully that works. I haven't tested on like super small screens, but I forget even which device I tried it on, but I've seen it in action and it looked good. I think I have an Android simulator somewhere.
Yeah. And I mean, this is also a use case. It could also like escape a lot of developers when they're trying to do these designs. So it's really important to always be testing and in smaller devices, as we're doing here, and have those little if statements, because everything looks good for us, but we have a lot of users in the store and they have a wide range of devices. There's people still with old versions of Android, like Android, I would say API 19, 20, 21, that now seem like so old. But I mean, not everybody has the latest devices, so we need to be able to support everyone up to a certain point, because we don't want to go that far either as well, right? Go down to API 14, like who's using that anymore? there has to be, as you said, nobody. Yeah, there has to be, like you said, a line in the sand where you're like, I'm not going over there, you go over here. So yeah.
Yeah, and Google, both Google and iOS tell you too. So
yeah,
on their website it says like how many users are using specific densities, and so things like MDPI 6%, like maybe don't invest so much into it. I mean, I definitely don't do LDPI. That's silly. But yeah, where's their OS usage?
Yeah, and it's important to know.
It's not on here.
Something that is kind of fundamental, that it's not only iOS, also Android has this buckets basically of for your app resources, because everything is scaled depending on the density of their screen. So that's why Brandon was saying he's saying points instead of pixels, because if you put 30, like let's say the width is 30, it's actually not 30 pixels like in web. It's actually 30 points, and it's gonna get scaled appropriately in each screen. So your button looks the same size in all the devices, which makes total sense once you think about it. Because if not, you're gonna have a really small button in a high-end device and a really big button in a lower tier device.
Yeah, I'm bummed I can't. Maybe they don't share it anymore. But yeah, Android used to show the numbers, like if I say iOS.
Oh yeah, system, I remember that. Let me see. Android and OS usage. Let me see. I think it was the site you were on. Let me see.
Yeah, I thought so too. It just almost looks like it disappeared. But like right here for iOS, it says 81% of all devices are using iOS 14. And then 17% are using iOS 13, and only 2% are using earlier versions. So with iOS, the rule of thumb for operating system support is just the current version minus 1. And so every time Apple pushes out a new version of iOS, I always bump that up for my app and then rip out any like old code where we had to support older APIs. But for Android, it's a little tougher. Android's got a lot more fragmentation.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah,
I don't know what happened to that dashboard.
I was looking at it over here. They apparently have removed it and only left the percentages. But yeah, as you said before, you could get like numbers of how many devices actually was using it. I don't know. Maybe it's a privacy thing. I don't know.
I mean, what we can show,
Yeah.
we can show how many, like, what percentage of our users.
Yeah.
So this is the stats for Android, and
Oh yeah. By the way, guys, this what Brandon is using here is App Center, where we basically have all the analytics for our apps. So here you can see like how many users are using our app, what type of languages they have their device set to, where what countries they're coming from, which devices they're using. So yeah, App Center is a great platform you can use to integrate to your Xamarin apps, and it has a bunch of more features like UI tests. You can even distribute your app through App Center. You can run diagnostics. So yeah, really helpful.
yeah. And so, I mean, here, most of our users are using version API 28 and above.
Nice.
App Center doesn't give us this other value, which is kind of annoying. But,
Oh,
but yeah,
wait. It says other 19. If you hover it, you see?
right. That just means there's 19 devices using an
Ah,
operating system
some other.
that's not 29, 28, or 30. So
Okay.
not super helpful, but I mean, like, you can see 14.2 and up for iOS is
Nice.
just about everybody. But yeah, I mean, I like, especially now that we have the app translated, I like that we can see the languages. And so this is actually the reason why I have a open issue for Chinese translations, because
Wow.
we have a lot of users in China, and I want
You're
to,
famous.
yeah, and I want to be able to support them. And so hopefully
Yeah.
somebody someday who knows Chinese can help us out. But
Hey, but did you notice
we'll see.
this? How different it is? Like in Android, we don't have recent Chinese users, but in iOS, we do. Like if you switch back now to
Very strange.
iOS, yeah. See? See how the map changed? Even the countries, like it's interesting to see how some countries favor some, I would say some devices over others, right? Because if you see into Android, we have some countries here colored that are not in the iOS one as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, look, nice.
yeah. I've
That's
always
interesting.
found Android to be more international, and I think that
Yeah.
is the market trend, where iOS is definitely popular in the US, and
Hmm.
then kind of as you get farther and farther away from that, iOS or the US sphere of
Hmm.
influence, iOS
Yeah.
becomes less and less popular. So like
And
even
I
if you
guess,
just
yeah, I guess it also has to do with how they market it, right? And what the devices, like what the markets are, right? Because
oh
iOS
certainly
has always been like a high end device focused for a
right
certain like. It's not a cheap device, so it kind of makes sense how Android is more international because so many companies create devices running Android, right? So you have all the range of prices for them, so they're more available, I would say.
yep yeah, and that's a big thing too is like you're saying, iOS devices are or Apple devices in general are always high end.
Yeah,
There's no like value economic tier
yeah.
for Apple devices, and they do that on
Oh,
purpose. And
oh.
so,
Now they're saying kind of they have a value tier, but it's not really a value tier. The
no,
iOS, what is it called, the C or something like that. I'm not an iOS fan, so like the ones that has the
um,
all the reduce features. Even the
there
body is,
is yeah, there's SE, there's Mini,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, but I mean,
They're
it's
still kind of,
still
yeah,
yeah, it's
kind
still
of
hundreds of
high.
dollars for a smartphone. Even like the cheapest laptops are,
Yep.
man, you're gonna have a tough time getting out of the Apple store with a computer for less than $800 US.
Yeah.
And so it's not cheap, like especially when you can get like a Chromebook for like $150. Yeah, it's
Exactly.
so yeah, definitely in areas where there's just lower cost of living, like Apple doesn't lower their prices there. So
Yeah.
if you have a lower cost of living, you could live a great life, be super comfortable, but then you go to the Apple store and everything's like a month's salary.
Yeah.
And it's an easy decision to be like, no.
Yeah. No, and then when you get the actual device in those, like for example in DR, when you get a device that is over $200, you have so much taxes to pay on it just to take it out that
Oh,
you
that's
end up
right,
paying
yeah.
like half of the device as well. And you're like, no, thank you.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so actually, why don't I do this, since that I wanted to show a smaller device, but the mini actually isn't as mini as I thought it was. I'll bring up the Android device. That way we can see both apps side by side compared to our drawings, our mockups,
Yep.
because when we're doing these cross-platform UIs, there's always going to be little tweaks we have to make that are platform
Yep.
specific, and it could be just like the way fonts are sized. Like I can see like libraries is getting clipped down here, so obviously this row
Yep.
in our grid needs to be taller, but on Android it might be fine, or vice versa. So
Yep.
we'll give that a second to load too. But
Hey, can you, while this is loading, can you switch the iOS one to dark theme?
oh yeah, that's another good one. I don't know if I love it in dark theme, and I
Ah,
don't think it's our fault, but something I noticed, and
the
yeah, you have a better eye
avatars.
for this than I do. Um, so yeah, I mean these look fine,
Yeah.
but the default,
Yeah, we need a
um,
white background there to make it work there. Yep.
that's what I was thinking. I was gonna, yeah, awesome. So yeah, because the just the default Nuget icon
Yeah.
is this dark blue color. Autofac uses a whoa, hey,
Oh, you must call xamarin.forms init prior to using this property.
what? We got
Oh.
bugs. What are we initializing here? But then, well, let's see what's going on real quick. So basically, it's yelling at me because I'm calling the xamarin.forms dependency service, which is dependency service dot resolve here.
I device
saying-
notification.
I called that before I initialized xamarin.forms. So this is where I initialize xamarin.forms. This is when I first access the container, the IOC container. But is there another place where... Oh, I should have kept that stack trace up. I do that all the time. Whoops.
Yeah. And like remember to tap on continue as well. Like as soon as it comes up, I stop the execution sometimes and I'm like, oh no, I need to generate it again.
Oh,
Wait,
turn it off, turn it back on again.
what happened? Maybe it's an a simulator issue.
We'll have to file that away as let's keep an eye on that.
It's a one-off.
Let's see, because we're initializing. So the application class initializes first. So that's why I'm looking here. And I don't see anything that references that IOC container or dependency injection container.
Yeah.
And then here, that should finish before we start calling container.resolve to get all these classes out of it. So what else? It could have been something in here.
Authorize.
Yeah, actually could have been something like that. But those methods are called... I mean, on new intent shouldn't fire unless the app is already running.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see if it ever happens again.
Yeah, I would say it was a simulator thing. That's why I like running it on the physical device, but I don't know.
Oh, look at that. Ugh.
Oh,
Gross.
well, close enough. Close enough. Only the library's title is kind of out of whack, and the
It's like disappearing off the screen. Um,
oh,
so, oh, that's just a simulator.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so definitely, like, I see spacing between these buttons, spacing between here. I see watchings getting clipped here.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably just put in some Lauren Ipsum for this
Yep.
text so we can fill it out a bit.
What is the incomplete tag?
Oh, that's for me.
Okay.
That's kind of like a reminder. Don't ship this. Like, you haven't finished this. Like,
Okay.
I haven't really spent too many brain cycles figured out what to put here. But
Yeah, let's put some. We can just put some lower nits up there, and that should do for now.
yeah, so I think adjusting some of these spacings, definitely, like you said, like put a white background on the libraries.
Mm-hmm. And even I don't think people have avatars with transparent background in the collaborators, but maybe we also need some white background there just in case.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah, just flipping through, like I see like Veronica has a white background. So does this Azure Advocate bit, but those seem to be solid whites. But yeah, I mean, why not, right?
yep. And then we also I'm seeing here, if you swipe to the left again, one of the lists, that bar on the bottom, we need to get rid of it.
Ooh,
The scrolling bar.
Does
Yep.
that is not on Android? Okay,
Yep.
so
we
there's
need
probably
to. Yeah, there's
All right,
a
let's-
configuration we can set, I think, for that.
like a platform specific.
Yeah.
iOS scroll bar xamarin.forms. Come on, Google. How to add a scroll bar? Now I get rid of the scroll bar. Hide the scroll bar.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Let's do this.
2019. Ooh. Collection view. Yeah.
Question view scrolling.
Ooh. Oh wait, the second one. Scroll bar visibility xamarin.forms. Maybe the Microsoft one.
Hey, the third one's my blog post.
Oh really? Nice.
Um,
I haven't used. Let's go.
so
the way.
there's APIs in list view.
Maybe let's go all the way down.
So that's a
I know how to
renderer.
control on iOS. We need custom render. Okay. Maybe there's something else.
Yeah, let's see what the Microsoft docs say. Detect scrolling. We don't need to detect it.
Scroll an item at an index. No.
Disable scrolling animation. Scroll position. Make
Visible what?
Nope.
Should be scrolled. No. Start, center, and
Scroll bar visibility.
oh, perfect.
Horizontal scroll bar, vertical scroll bar, back by compatible properties. Okay, cool. So it should be as
Nice.
easy as
Easy peasy.
yeah. Ah, never
Yep.
and
Perfect.
never. Easy fix.
Ship it.
Ugh, no. I mean, nobody's probably gonna look at this page anyways. But the other thing I thought was kind of strange here. Let's pull these up. I don't know if you want to do something about this, but it looks more weird over here. Using the same font color for the title and the number. I don't know if that looks weird to your eye.
Yeah.
But like when I look at like collaborators versus the description, I think they're actually the same color. It's just a different weight. But I don't know how like should we like do we have it backwards here? Do we have the numbers bold and the titles not bold? I'm not sure. obviously we could look at the code and figure it out, but
So
something about that on dark mode looks a little strange, whereas like light theme,
yeah,
I think it looks fine, but for some reason when they're white, it's just like,
yeah, that's true. But I think, well, yeah, I see in the Adobe XD project we put all of them white, but yeah, in the phone it doesn't quite work. Maybe we can try putting the color we have for the paragraph text, which is like the light, like the unsaturated brown we are using there.
So, so just to show you, it's for this is, I'm calling this title and this description label. So
Yeah,
title label, description label. So they're using the same color.
Oh, you have them white, both of them?
But the description is Roboto regular font, whereas the title is Roboto medium.
Yeah.
And so what we could do is,
yeah, we can try changing the width of it. Maybe the titles, the small titles, put them regular and leaving the bottom ones medium, or swap that idea, like
right,
medium
what
the
are
titles.
we doing right now?
Yeah, medium the titles. And so let's first try putting the, I would say,
right now,
yeah,
the stats titles are medium.
Yeah.
And then
try putting the stats regular. Let's see.
So do you want the number?
The number, yeah. So put the number regular and let's see how it looks. Because the number is already kind of like the size, the font size is bigger than the title. So even if it's regular, it's gonna still be noticeable. In like comparing it to the title. So let's see.
Let's find out.
This is Android, right? The one we're running.
Yep.
And does the shortcut for changing to dark theme here, is it the same one or you can switch it in the Android simulator?
Ooh, that does look better. I don't know the keyboard command to do it on Android. I always just go into the operating system settings on the Android emulator and toggle it. But yeah, maybe we should because of that. Let's
run it on iOS.
But not the mini. Not the mini. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'll just make our life easier.
Yeah, definitely we need to work on the spacing. Like between the description of the collaborators and the title of the collaborators. The spacing for the buttons. The stats.
It's kind of hilarious that libraries just disappeared like that.
Yeah, and it's so weird because in iOS, like it shows almost completely. Why does an Android like it just chopped it?
I mean, my guess is I think I set that to be, let's see, so title label, I say vertical. No, vertical is start and expand. Dang. All right, I have no idea. I was thinking I had told it to be at the bottom.
Can we see where we define like the top? I mean the size of it. I mean the height for the row.
So right now it's just 10 points, which is the smallest number on here by far, even compared to the stats title, which are obviously a much smaller font size.
and what is the font size for those titles? That, let me see, we put 16. So yeah, maybe minimum we should use 16 in the rows for the size.
Sounds good to me.
Let's see if that.
By the way, here's this already looks much better. These numbers up here.
Definitely. Nice. Yep. So quick little trick, guys. Remember about what we talked about, the font weights. Use them to your advantage. You don't need to resize the font. You can just play around with the weights, and that's gonna bring the attention to the user to the things you want to outline the more, I would say, in the screen. And in our case was the title, and the stats should be visible, but they should not compete between each other, right?
Yeah, and I know I fully expect you to beat me up on this, but the spacing between these separators, I know you're gonna want that to be even, and that is you're right. It's just harder, easier said than done. Is probably the best way to say it.
We'll leave that adjustment for last, because right now all the other spacing is easier to tackle, and it's causing the most noise at the moment. So once we have everything else tidy, we can come back to that little thing and see if it's, oh, you see, nice libraries. Perfect. So let's see can you run it on Android and see if it's not eating it up anymore?
Of course.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It is annoying when you say stop debugging that it closes the app. It's like, I get it. You know, same thing happens if you're doing work for like web APIs or ASP.NET stuff. But it's like, maybe just leave the app open.
Yeah.
Especially here, because we have to navigate to the settings page every time, or then to the about page. And
you know, a little trick sometimes I do when I'm like working just on like refactoring UI and working on views and stuff. I would just default to the page, like the navigation. I would just default it to the page I'm working on. Yep. And just get that to pop up there. So I saw it was kind of cropping it at the bottom as well.
Let's give bump that up another.
Yeah, like 2 more. Yeah, 4 more to keep with our magic numbers.
Increments of 4. So that should be, speaking of which, is it 30?
32, 36. Yep. 32.
40. 4 times 25. 4 times 12 is 48.
Yep. 32. And this one should be 92.
100?
Or 96. Yeah, 100. Nice.
100 divided by 4 is... Oh, wait. Are you looking at Adobe XD?
No. I was trying to calculate it. And then I remember, wait, that's stupid. So yeah.
100 divided by 4 is 25.
Exactly.
Right. Gotcha. I'm going to also... I'm going to give it a background color. What are we playing around with? We're playing around with libraries.
Yep.
So let's say background color equals color.pink. Just to make sure we are fixing the root cause of the problem, because it could be something where the row size is fine, just the text is on the bottom for some reason, although I didn't see that when I glanced at the code for a second, but I only glanced at the code for a second.
I think we have it in start and expand, but I don't know. We have to check it. Let's see.
Oh, okay.
Okay, nice.
That looks great.
That did the trick. Okay. So I see it's kind of like an expand for some reason. Like
it's what?
Like it seems like vertically it's N and it's an expand. Like zoom in.
Oh. Yeah, it's kind of shifted, like the padding is higher on the top than on the bottom.
Yeah, it's not that much, so it doesn't really matter. We can leave it like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah. So okay, it looks good on Android. So now let's I would say let's try and tackle the background color for the banners, and then we can just keep tweaking the spacing for the descriptions.
Sounds good.
Yeah, the background color for the libraries avatars, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. Just avatar image.
Oh,
Kind of
color.
going down this rabbit hole to see if I have
Oh, and
background color.
we also need to update the border color and set it as we have it in the repositories page to the color we have there.
So it is. I remember we talked about this last time, but
No. Remember, you just passed it, and for we put in the avatar image. It's defaulting to black instead of the one in the repository page.
Nope. It's overridden by dynamic resource. So that is like if I pull up the repository. Oh, it's probably base. Let's go side by side.
Okay.
Avatar image. There we go. So where are we here? So border color property, base theme, separator color, border color property, base theme, separator color.
Oh, okay.
So it is the same. I hear you though.
But like change to, you see it's black. Like change to the light theme.
Well, let's see.
There's
what
something
should separator color be?
off in this page, because if you go to the repository page, you're gonna see it's not the same.
So separate color and dark theme should be this.
Yeah, it should be like a white, like a light gray, I would say. Not really. See, that one looks completely. You see? Zoom in here. See? So there's some place I think we're taking away that what you're setting there.
That's weird. Did I do the binding wrong? Where was I? So shoot, where'd it go? No, go away. Avatar image avatar image. There we go. Border color property. And that's interesting. So there's no, I'm not specifying. Let's specify the name there. So if I said, okay. Interesting. So that's definitely a difference. Let's see how that impacts this. So yeah, sorry, I'd assumed dynamic resource would override whatever you put in there. Just kind of like a binding will override whatever default value you give it.
Yeah.
But let's see what's going on here. So what I did just now, I changed this dynamic resource to say circle image border color property. Whereas before it was just border color property.
Yeah.
And that might be what's going on here. So although border color property, the way bindings work, it's just a string name, right? Or yeah, let's see if this changes anything. So if this does change anything, we'll have black circles around the repositories on the repository page. And we have black circles. Interesting. All right. So what's going on? So with that being just border color property, that means it's defaulting to the class that it's in. So in this case, it's material frame.border color property. So just for grids, it's gonna yell at me because I gotta bring in the namespace. I'll only do it in the library data template. So the we'll still see, we'll have two collections. One has the older non-fixed, so the contributors should still be black. And this should do it, but is avatar image using? No. Oh, no, because this is in a material frame. That's the, oh no, that's the card view. Oh man, what a conundrum. I've got a bug. I've got a bug in the code. That's without a doubt. But border,
you see color equals.
Yeah, that was an old bug in Pancake View. I might be able to get rid of that now, but like you had to give it a border color and then you could bind to a border color.
Okay.
Let's see what goes on here. So son of a gun, look at that.
Nice. Good.
All right, so I'm gonna we'll do the fix, but I am certainly perplexed.
Yeah.
Simplify it to frame. Interesting. I'm gonna do one more experiment. I'll dig into this bug after, because I think it's more important that you and I work together on the spacings and the font weights and all that more important stuff. But just want to run this real quick to give me a data point for when I dig into this code. I mean, Pancake View does use a frame, like if you dig into the Pancake View source code, and this is a Pancake View. But what I thought I did, like I created this border color property. So I must not be setting. So border color, circle image, color. So I must have a bug in the way I've set up these bindings.
Yeah.
Which is not uncommon. Especially when you start nesting stuff together. Okay, so yeah, frame did it.
Nice.
All right, so let's fix that in both of them before I forget.
Yep. So we added it to the libraries one. We need it in the contributors one as well.
Yeah, I also want to get rid of that color. So let's got about 20 tabs open. So let's keep a clean house. Contributors. Whoops. And you should be frame. Ta-da.
Let's see. And also now we can go into doing the white background for the avatars as well.
Yeah, interesting. So again, I've got to dig into this, but I'm binding the Pancake View border color property. So this is Pancake View's border, its border color property, to the border color. So every time this binding gets updated, it should propagate to this binding, but apparently it's not. So noted. Fix that. That makes a lot more sense, man. Because you said that last time, and I looked at the code, and I was like, nope. Like the code is good. Like it just must look a little weird on this page.
Yeah. For some reason, the About page likes its black borders. What can we do? You see?
Dumb rationalization I did.
If you zoom in into the collaborators pictures, you see how more like clean it looks with this light color instead of like that Black
Oh,
we have
much,
there.
much better. And even,
Yeah.
I know we talked about doing the white background here, and yeah, we probably still should. But it definitely cleans up these
Yeah.
library logos as well.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I also wonder, so like a lot of these are getting clipped, and they're supposed to be getting clipped, but
There's a center thing. What is it called? There's a property that it centers for you and doesn't clip the the images.
well, what I was thinking is, what if we slap some padding on them? Like do
Oh yeah, like 16 or 6 padding around all around. Yeah, that can work as well.
let's see. Oh, what am I changing? This is contributor. No, contributor's fine.
Or we can also like scale the images down, but that's too much. That's like the second option if this doesn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to do too much. I just want to kind of scoot it in a little bit. Because that's also something I noticed on the referring sites page. It's same idea, right? Like the referring site was Nuget, then that image gets clipped a little bit. And I don't know if referring sites is going to show up because we're in demo mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this emulator.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the that what I keep saying, like system UI not responding. That's the Android operating system
Yeah.
not responding. So maybe I just need to update my emulators because I did just update macOS. Maybe they're fighting each other for some reason.
Yeah.
I also just choose to ignore it sometimes. Oh, that did help.
Ooh,
The
nice.
circle's almost, actually you can see the padding right here.
Yeah.
Autofact.
A little bit more.
Wow.
Let's give it like 8 instead of 4. And we should have it like perfect. Because you see even Microsoft?
Yeah, because those must be square logos, like this .NET. Yeah, so .NET's square.
Yeah.
So we're putting a square peg into a round hole. What was your recommendation? You want to go
8. Let's do it. Just do it. Have you seen that video? Oh.
Very inspirational.
Yeah.
It's Shia LaBeouf, for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Let me see if I found it and put it in the chat.
He basically made a video of himself in front of a green screen that was supposed to be this inspirational video. It was kind of when some may argue he was going through an existential crisis. Some may argue he's just an artist. He's being artistic. I agree more with the former than the latter.
Yeah.
But he made this like inspirational video. It was like, quit thinking about your goals and just do it. And then it's in front of a green screen, so people could put in whatever they want. But I'll say more people made fun of Shia than encouraged him.
I just published it in the chat, so if you guys want to check it out. And remember, just do it. Stop overtaking it.
I'm gonna bump that up to 12.
Yeah, we're almost there. Yeah, let's do 12.
We'll see how. Let me grab.
Who doesn't like it? Who doesn't like it can go and add a pull request, and we can certainly check it out.
And then your name will show up as a contributor. So
yeah. And you just need to change a number in line 42 of the library data template.cs file. You can just hear the people searching the repo right now to do the PR.
We haven't even committed this code yet, and they're changing it. That's fine. I mean, worst case scenario, we just close the PR. But
yeah,
I will say, pro tip, total aside, has nothing to do with Git Trends, but before you open a PR on a repo, like before you go changing code, open up an issue first and discuss it with the owner, because I've been doing a bunch of work the past couple weeks with Xamarin Community Toolkit.
Yeah.
And I've had to close a couple PRs where like I can tell they put in a ton of work and like this was a lot of code, but either it's like this isn't the right way to do it, or there's not a whole lot of value that's going to be added for this feature compared to like if we're adding in 1,000 lines to the repo, that's 1,000 lines of code we need to maintain. We need to have tests for. That's potential bugs, and like there should be a lot of value coming with that. And there was one we closed recently. It's just like, hey, I'm sorry, man, but next time just open up as an issue or discussion. Like let's chat about it. Because if we had a conversation ahead of time, we probably could have come to the optimal solution first before you spent a couple hours working on it.
Yeah, that's true.
But
and in the end,
there we go.
In the end, if you're contributing to, nice, it looks really polished now.
Oh, this is interesting. I just noticed.
Oh yeah, we have multiple.
Case.
We fit that HTTP client.
Oh, and that looks a little weird. Like Shiny uses a white background color instead of.
Yeah, so remember we're gonna add the background color to the ground if we want to be redundant, and that should solve the issue, right?
Yes. I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. Do we have anything in our theme that is white when it's in dark mode?
Text color. Oh,
that's
but
right.
wait.
Yeah, we're looking at
that.
I think you're right.
But no, in light theme it's not white. In light theme it's black.
Oh, we don't care. We want it to be white on both.
Yeah,
okay.
On both. Yeah.
Cool. Even easier. That's library. So yeah. Boom.
Nice.
Oh man.
So yeah, coming back to the contributions for the repo, I would say this is a great project you guys can contribute, because remember we have our Adobe XD project as well for the designs. So if you guys want to like suggest some UI updates and you don't want to go heads in the code first, like having to learn the whole code base, you can just go to the Adobe XD project, go directly to the screen, copy it, make a duplicate, and then you can do your changes there and submit a PR, and we can check it out and we can discuss it on stream and see what you're suggesting, and maybe even add it to that screen. Like maybe you want to adjust some spacings, change some colors around. Maybe you want to do a new theme for the app. Like eventually we could have like different color themes, right? And we already have everything ready in the code. So yeah, maybe someone wants to have, instead of the teal color, an orange theme or green theme. So yeah, we're definitely open to all of those suggestions. Ooh, nice.
Yeah, and the white kind of pops against our off-white background color.
I really like it.
Yeah, that's a keeper. This one's kind of weird though. I've noticed some of these labels are getting cut off.
Yeah.
Because this is the same thing as this. They're just like I think this is GitHub API status, and this is GitHub API status dot extensions. Yeah.
But why does it get cut up before the
other right?
Like what?
I don't know. But I also wonder, like, probably the majority of these are getting truncated. So I almost wonder if we should make those a little bigger.
Maybe less per column, I would say, instead of 4.
There's another one. Za.
Like what is that? How is that? Like, how does that make sense? Like, look at the one on the left. Xamarin.
It's the same template. It's literally the exact same code for both.
Yeah, that's gonna be probably a gotcha. Something we missed
center
in the configuration.
Horizontal.
Oh, do you not put center and expand? Label.
Now I did.
Oh, wait. Text center, horizontal, text top. What is this text top thing you're adding here?
That's vertical alignment.
Oh, okay.
Start. So yeah, the C# markup extensions. I actually like this syntax better because top is intuitive, like it's stuck to the top. But it is, yeah, it's a little bit different. So yeah, that's just saying your vertical alignment is start, and then we have center expand horizontal.
And
or do
we don't have.
We should just, it should be
we
fill
don't
expand horizontal.
Yeah,
Because the text
but we don't have a
center.
size for the width of this, do we?
We do. It's hard coded in the columns.
Okay,
so the label is starts in left text, spans 3 columns, so it spans. This way the text can go out past the image. So I've let's bring this up so everybody can see it. So otherwise the text would get cut off right here.
Yeah.
So I gave it a couple more points of padding. So to answer your question, it goes text padding is, where's that value? There it is. So it's 5 plus 5 is 10 plus the circle diameter. So it's 72.
72. Okay. Yeah, that seems good. Wait, did you just run it again?
I did not.
No. Yeah. I was like, nothing changed, huh? Let's see. But yeah, definitely major improvement with those little 2 tweaks we did there. We just changed the border color and we added a nice background, white background to consider in both teams. And you can see how much the difference makes just by adding those considerations there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because here's the screenshot we took before we changed the background color, before we changed that font size.
Yep. And here we already did a little bit of the padding, but yeah, before it would even cut out some of the logos. So yeah, definitely way cleaner.
Oh, much better. Yeah, so that's not getting cut off.
Nice.
We don't have any. Yeah, so my what I bet was happening was it sized it for something small like refit, and then it reused that same cell later.
Yeah.
And tried to fit Xamarin FF image loading forms in it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We could make this label bigger, so more characters appear, but
you know that it kind of makes sense now what was happening. Remember the I need to check the code of the collection view, but the templates are supposed to be recycling each other, right? When you swipe. So the templates that had let's say the template that had the refit one, when it got reused and we set a new text to it, it would stay with the size of the refit. But the others that had different sizes initially would show the whole text. So that's why some of them would be like really cut up, and the others will like show completely. Because yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But speaking of that refit, I need to add some logic here to ignore those like
that contain the same name inside of it, I would say.
Yeah. Let's see. So real quick, update the Nuget library cache. Because what I did, I created a dictionary. And so the key for the dictionary was the title. And so that's why I was able to say, like, if it contains that key, or only add it if it doesn't contain the key.
Yeah.
But I wonder.
But since this key has that something, it adds it either way. It's like hacking its way around your filter.
I know, right?
He's like, oh, you want to filter me because I say refit? All right, let me add some last name to myself.
Yeah, I thought I had somewhere in here like ordinal or compare.
Yeah, maybe you can just take the string, whatever is in the string up to the first point, and that's it. Like parse it, no?
Yeah, no. Sorry, you're totally right. Just thinking like, where's the best place to do that? Man,
where are you adding it to the dictionary? Is it only here? Let me see. Run Git package. Okay, yeah, here's where you're adding it. So before the contains, no, wait, because you're already asking.
I mean, if I don't
Yeah,
use contains key, um,
yeah, we're definitely using that, but the title you're sending has to be parsed before you sending that title. So we only want titles. Yeah. So anything up to the first point.
yes, a string comparison. Ignore case. So that'll do the same thing. It won't be as efficient, but this doesn't need to be hyper optimized.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, the reason I use contains key is, well, and the reason I'm using dictionaries are, or the keys are all hashed. And so if you have a key in the dictionary and you tell it to like, go get the value for this key, that's O of 1.
Yep.
And so by saying contains key, it just has to do one lookup. Whereas here, this will be either n squared or n factorial. But it's not like I have infinite Nuget packages in this library. Like, so I think that'll be fine.
Yep. And like even a nice kind of perk about the dictionaries is that if you try and add the same key, it's just gonna add the same key. Like it's gonna replace it.
It crashes.
Wait. Oh wait, in C#. I know in C++.
Because there's.
Let me see.
Is it in? There's something else in the dictionary. I was thinking it was like replace or maybe just say you just edit the key directly, I guess. But yeah, no, the dictionary will crash if you add a key that already exists to it.
Yeah, so in C++, I used to do that little trick, I would say, and it's just you don't even need to check because it's gonna. If you're sending that key and it's already there, it's just gonna say, "Hey, I already have it." It's not. It's gonna basically ignore it. So, but yeah, I've not played around that much, I guess, lately with this in C#. But I didn't know it crashed.
So yeah, in C# we would do something like this, equals.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. So we could pass in the value.
But and if it's not there, it creates it, etc. Yeah.
If this was something that was going to have a million Nuget packages in it, then we'd have a big problem on our hands. Maybe there will be 100 Nuget packages. So.
And if we have 100. And if we have 100, something is happening with us. Yeah. We also want to limit like the dependencies we have. And if you reach 100 dependencies in your project, have you coded something? Like, are you like, is the app just dependency?
Well, and not to mention, you're running risks of circular dependencies. You're running risks of updates breaking everything. But
yeah,
I mean. We've got a bunch of awesome Nuget packages in here.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's maybe about 10 there.
Yeah, I would say xamarin.forms is the one that has more.
A couple dozen, and all these Nuget, well, not all of them, but some of these Nuget packages also use Nuget packages.
Yeah.
Which we're not shouting those out. Maybe we should, but I don't know. That's something that's like, we're not necessarily referencing that one specifically.
Yeah. I mean, if they go to one of the ones we're shouting out, I guess they are also shouting out the ones they're using. So
oh yeah, and
they're eventually gonna check it out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole rabbit hole too, right? Like if I say like Nuget, what's one we're using? So like ff image loading forms svg. So like this is one we're using. This is how we're loading all our SVGs. This has dependencies, so like
Yeah.
then you would have to shout this one out, and then this has dependencies, so you'd have to.
And
shout
then you
out.
keep going down and going. You know,
And
a fun
then,
one.
yeah, you get
to
into
do
like,
this?
are we using iOS or are we using Mac? And
Yeah.
you have to. There's all these branches. It would complicate things immensely. So
Yeah, a fun one to do that with is like an Android Nuget that you know when you start going down, there's like a lot of
all the
support libraries. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that's-
just look at like xamarin.forms, Nuget.
Yeah.
Like, any UI package, yeah, on Android is gonna have. So we've already like you got all these, but like
Yeah.
Google Material, like
Yeah. If you want to scare someone like a newcomer, you're like, hey, go check how many dependencies we have and like the hierarchy of the. They're gonna
yeah.
be like, I quit.
well,
I
remember
can't.
back in the day, they would all appear here too. So like
Yeah.
you would go look at like what Nuget packages do I have, and be like not just the ones you reference, but all of the ones they reference. And this packages would like you would just have to scroll and scroll and scroll to get through it.
Yeah.
Especially like even back in the day before .NET Standard, there was like Microsoft specific Nuget packages. So people would bring in like system.numbers.vectors and like because it didn't exist because we didn't have a .NET Standard yet, and so
Yeah.
those were wild days back in the day.
Yep. Oh, and did you get to see that David Otinao actually is now starting to do this cool 60 seconds videos in YouTube about Xamarin, and he actually did one that has to do kind of what we were talking about, the packages and Android. He basically was migrating a xamarin.forms app from 3.0 all the way to 5, to the preview of 5.
Oh, right on.
And he showed how you can like update the Nuget packages for Android. That I know some people, guys, you no longer have to go to each package and update one by one. You can just go to the chproj as David showed and just delete all the references, update the xamarin.forms package, and it's gonna bring in all the dependencies it needs automatically. Because before, if you went package by package, it would start saying, hey, I can't update this package because you need to update these other 3 packages that you don't even have in your project. And you're like, what?
Those
So, yeah,
were painful days.
that's definitely an upgrade there.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this whole, I mean, just using package reference over, I don't remember what the old way used to be called. That's just been awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, you used to have like the packages.json file and like that would dictate everything that came in. But it's gotten way better. Anyways, we've got 14 minutes left.
Ooh, yeah.
There's tons of things we need to do, but what should we do?
Descriptions, put 2 lines to them. Fix the spacing between the description for the collaborators and the collaborator title, and let's give it some spacing between the buttons and the collaborator title as well.
Yeah, figured I should look at the height for this. This is 32.
32.
That's 32. Okay.
32. Yep.
Yeah, so it's kind of close when I guessed.
Yep.
But so 32 with a column spacing. Oh, that's row
like
spacing.
a 4. Yeah.
It said 5 in Adobe XD, so I just rounded that up to 6. Like
okay.
If I zoom in, everybody can see what I'm seeing. So yeah, let's call that 5, or let's call that 6. It is 5. And then that's 32. 32. Oh, interesting. So the collaborator title is set to 32, but that should probably, like, the library's title is 20.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that well, let's see what Adobe XD says. Bye. 20.
Yep.
Son of a gun.
Seems nice.
If I had just read the manual, followed the guide, I
everything
literally
would have
made those numbers
worked.
up when we were doing this on the fly the other, was
Oh,
that
okay.
probably 2 weeks ago? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, that looks like 50. Why not? It's Friday.
Yeah. But then again, we see the importance of like having all of this mockups pre-made, because now we just need to reference back to it and don't even like have to start testing out a lot of numbers. We already have it, the numbers that are gonna work right off the bat.
Oh yeah, and that's huge.
Yeah.
Let's see. Max lines, that's what it's called.
Nice. Yeah.
So
So
max
two.
lines will be 2. That. Stop the build. There we go. Woo! Good progress today, man.
Yeah. I definitely I would say the highlight that I like the most about this stream is the work we did for the avatars and how like the change the libraries avatars did with those two little neat tricks, and also like all the work you did in the back end for that area. That was
Nah.
some nice work there.
You guys would have been laughing at me if I had been live streaming that, which is fine. But it
Yeah.
was just one of those things where it's like, just one of those things where like nothing goes the way you plan. It was like,
Yeah.
I know exactly how to do this, and then like you said, like the Nuget packages don't necessarily match the assembly name, so it's like, okay,
Yeah.
how do we do it differently? And then the whole Nuget package trying to do caching on the device. Ooh, look at that.
Nice. Okay, so yeah,
So-
6 is kind of too much. Let me see. Put the Adobe XD side by side.
Yeah, like
No, actually, no. It's okay. It's okay. Let's give the spacing
this-
on the top, and maybe that's gonna make everything fall into place now.
spacing on the top. Which
So
like
the
I see
collaborator.
spacing here.
Yeah. So let's finish with the collaborator title. So those two sections on the bottom will be like basically done. So let's do the alt and go to the button. Let's see how much we have between the collaborator and the button. No, so
that's
the
not-
outer bound. Yeah, 24. Okay. We need 24 there. Or 16 it could
What
be.
though? Because this is all in a grid.
Easy
So, yeah,
peasy. We can increase the size of the row for collaborators. Just add the difference and then put collaborators to the end vertically and ship it.
Right, that's kind of the thing. Like, there's two options, right? Like, we can
Yeah.
increase this row height in the app, and like
Yeah.
you just said, like, say collaborators vertically aligns to the bottom.
Yeah.
But what yeah, I wonder how these buttons are. I feel like those probably scale to the max. I don't think there's any margins around these buttons. So I wonder.
Oh yeah, we could also
what
put
we
the margins
should-
on the bottom on the buttons. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like now that I look at this a little closer, so let's pretend like the buttons are centered, because I know we just kind of drew these lines in here for the grid, like kind of on a whim. We're like, it kind of looks like a grid, right?
Yeah.
So what we could do is add a top.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 and 11. So we'll call it like 8 and 8.
Uh-huh.
Top and bottom margin there. I wonder how big. I see the
32.
height. Oh, probably if I zoom out. Oh wait, that's a line to this line.
What?
Oh no. Let's see. If I select. Oh, is that a box?
Yeah,
So
yeah. Go to the
it's a
one
box.
on top of this so you can get the actual. So there's another canvas on the top that doesn't have all these little lines. Yeah, scroll it up. It's like, yeah, here, perfect. So here you can get the from the edge of the
Oh.
screen to the button, right?
Actually, hang on. Let's because we just talked about doing a padding for the those buttons. So margin. So let's do that before I forget. So this should have margin equals new thickness. We'll say 0.8. And then let's increase that button row by 16. So bump that up to 52. And 52 divided by 4 is 112. Yeah, so that's 13. Let's just see how this looks first.
Yep.
Because that'll change everything. Oh, give me C# hot reload.
Yes.
We're getting closer.
As soon as
was it the
stand-up?
Yeah, there was the community stand-up this week, and also David Art now published we should probably show that off here. Xamarin blog post. So .NET Maui Xamarin blog. Let's see if that triggers it. Boom. Yep.
Oh no, I saw the tweet, but I haven't had the time to read it.
Hot off the presses. I mean, I will say nothing here. If you've been following along with Maui, nothing here is too new.
Okay.
But what I appreciated was it kind of reiterates a lot of points, but anything David mentions in here is also like he's kind of reaffirming that commitment, right?
Yeah.
Like anytime we announce stuff, like Microsoft has a really bad habit of like announcing things that are I mean, it's the dream, right? Like this is what we want and we think we can do it. And then we start working on it and we realize like, oh wait, either like this is impossible or this is going to take more work. So what I appreciate with this blog post is it reiterated a lot of things and it shows the commitment to a lot of things. So things like .NET Maui is embracing Android, iOS, macOS, and Windows. Boom, sweet. So like again, like that was announced to build, and we're still sticking to it. We're still able to do it almost a year later. Single project, but this one. So in .NET 6, we're expanding the success to C# and introducing it to other workloads as well. So basically, like yes, we're still working on C# hot reload, and I mean, I knew that because I work at Microsoft, but it's always good to see that broadcast to the world because like these are more official. Oh yeah, wow,
nice.
Just adding that margin in really improved it.
We just need a little bit more. So from the top it's good, from the bottom we need a little bit more because the collaborators
bottom of the buttons.
So we need the collaborators to go a little bit further down. See? Because it's too crowded at the moment. How much do you give it at the bottom?
And actually, you might be right. If we just shift collaborators to vertically aligned to the bottom, wherever that code is, that could probably be it. Collaborators title, text, bottom. And probably even just bottom expand.
Yes, always expand.
Yeah, labels are weird, man, because you have the label, which I just think of as like a box, right? Like a rectangle. And then inside of that rectangle, the text can go wherever. So the text can go to the top of that rectangle. So it's like, that was one of the toughest things for me to wrap my mind around when I started with xamarin.forms was getting the text to appear right. Because I'd be like, no, like I set this to bottom or vertically align to the bottom, but the text is still off. And it's just like, oh, right, because the text floats inside of the view and the text can be pinned to the top or the bottom or the left or the right or the center.
Yeah.
It's
I would say it's one of those points that once you learn it, like what is the logic behind it, it makes so much sense. And other views, you also understand that you have that bounding box and you can play around with it. So it's definitely, I would say at first it's hard to get your head around it, but once you do, it's like a really powerful thing you can leverage in other custom views you're doing, right?
Totally. But in this case, that looks the same.
Yeah.
I don't know if anything even changed.
Yeah, I just give it 12, I would say.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. So
We'll just keep adding 4 and 4 until we eventually get to 24, but I think 12 will look good.
guess and check. So 0, 12.
Let's see.
So, oh yeah, I wonder how it looks on Android with these numbers now. I bet the numbers are still getting clipped up here.
Oh,
We didn't
yeah.
change that row height.
And even the titles are getting kind of clipped for that, for the stats
yeah,
there.
yeah. Forgot about that.
So watch it.
You know what? let's do that right now because we've got a minute left. Spoiler alert: we're gonna go over.
We can do it. We can do it.
So, stats number. Bump that up to 20. Stats title, bump that up to 16. I think that was it, right? Yeah.
Yep.
And so we'll want to.
I'm really liking how it's coming along. So,
I know, right?
when do you think we are gonna have this about us ready to ship?
Whew. Well, I mean, to be honest, and I mean this in the best way possible. Like, we made a lot more progress today than I thought we would. Mostly because when you get to this point in your app, it's just all fine tuning. Like, we just moved things by like 4 points, 4 pixels, and then we have to like see how it looks. And so, this can be the time, or this can take the most time, even compared to like. I mean, literally, we built this grid in less than an hour, but fine tuning it. And so after we get all these things aligned, I'll have to noodle on this text a little bit, just to like, what do we want to put here? I know, right? But yeah, long story short, we'll just need to get the translations in. So like, I did work on that today before the show. You're saying, like, you saw a flurry of commits and pull requests going in. So, yeah, I've got a resx file for the about page. So, about page constants. And so, this is where all these, like, stars, forks, watching, thank you. And that's where I threw in these incompletes to, again, just remind me that I still have to do it so I don't ship it. But we're really stinking close right now, and
I noticed another one we need to adjust just slightly. If you zoom into the Git Trends logo,
whoops,
the Git Trends logo. If you notice the Adobe XD project, I put like 16 points of spacing between the logo and the text. So give me my 16 points, please. Yeah, so it looks, you see how in the design it looks like it has its own like little box of like empty space, I would say. So here we're missing it because it looks like unbalanced. You have all this open space on the left, and then it's so like crunched to the next to the text, and it makes it look like this. So
So yeah, we could put
8.
Some. Yeah, no, again, I'm just thinking like, because it's in a grid, so we can either edit the grid or we can edit
the margin,
the padding on the image.
Padding.
Or we can edit margin. So many options.
I would say maybe the padding. No. Like, why is the logo all the way to the right? Did we put end and expand?
Center and expand.
Wait, but how is that the center of that column? Oh yeah, because we have this spacing. We have like the margin for the edge of the screen, right? So the grid is not spanning all the way to the edge, or is it?
There's probably. I'll bet if we pull up the logo, I'll bet there is just some. Oh no! Let's see. I was gonna say
I don't remember
or
how we did it.
there might be just spacing in the logo. That's gonna change it. I don't want to unset it. All right, reveal in Finder. Finder. All right, let's reveal this in Finder. Ta-da! All right.
There it is.
So assets, Git Trends. Let's actually open it up.
Yeah.
I need to see the background. So I think the logo has a little bit of padding on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, it does. So
But it's
there's a
the
little bit of
same-
padding there, which is why. Because I was going to say it should have expanded all the way to the column start, but
Yeah.
the image itself has some padding.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we should probably just add some right padding.
Yeah.
I mean, because if we change the column, like we could totally change the column. This is the only thing in that specific column. Everything else spans multiple columns or is in different columns. So we could change the column size, but then the gap wouldn't change. So
Yeah.
what do you think? 4 points of padding?
Yeah. Maybe 8. Maybe 8.
Image. Oh, images don't have padding. So, okay, I mean, margin's fine too.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. We can do this way cooler. Dot margin.
Ooh.
Nice. But still new thickness. It's strange. Like,
it looks more fluent. It's okay.
What's margins? Oh, there it is. Right padding.
Oh,
Oh, that's slick.
nice.
Woo.
Thank you. I'm forgetting his name.
Vincent.
Vincent. Yeah. Thank you, Vincent, for this cool extensions.
A little weird to have margin and margins. I would have just overloaded margin.
Margin. Yeah.
Because honestly, I've been using C#, these extension methods for, well, ever since they came out.
Yeah.
Definitely over a year. And I didn't know margins was a thing. I'll have to clean up some code elsewhere. I know, because I'm using thickness all over the place.
Yeah.
Which, it's fine. It all does the same thing.
Yeah, but this looks so much like cleaner.
Beautiful.
Like you see, it's just right 2.8. No new thickness. Saving you so much time on writing code.
So much time. That 300 milliseconds it takes to type new.
Yeah.
I will say that is a thing in, let's say, the C# markup extensions community where I don't know if you've ever seen Vincent's code. He likes to make a property called, so like kind of how like I create a class called description label.
Mm-hmm.
He likes to do with properties. So he would do something like, quick aside, he would say something like label, my label, new label, and like this is where he would say like text equals my text and background color, blah blah blah. So he would do it like this, whereas I like to do it in classes. And to give credit where credit's due, like this is a bit cleaner. Like if I say this, but the beef I have in, I don't know, it's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but to me, that's improper use of C# because you're using an expression-bodied property to initialize a new label every time. And that's really not what properties are intended for in C#.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm holding fast on the class route because I don't mind saying new statistics label. But yeah, some folks are like, I hate the new keyword. Like you shouldn't have to say new label all the time. It's like, all right, but
I don't like new stuff.
That's how C# works. Like this is an object-oriented language.
Yeah.
Like we're newing up objects and hiding the initialization behind a property
it kind of could get confusing. I know where you're going to.
Yeah, like you're gonna have some bugs in your code that you didn't expect later,
Yeah.
or you're gonna have like a junior dev join your team.
And he's gonna be
And
like, "What is the sorcery here?"
yeah, or like not understand the subtle nuances there and
Yeah.
assume that like it's gonna be the same label every time, because a property should be the same property every time, which is kind of what
Yeah.
I'm getting at. But anyways, let's see, what do we got, or what did we just do? Oh, we added padding to the label.
The padding to the logo. Yep.
We added
Ooh,
margins
to the button and to the logo. A little bit more, I would say, and we're there.
Yeah, a little bit more on the icon.
Yep. And for the collaborators one, like 4 more, and I think it should be good to go.
Between the buttons and the collaborator title.
Yep.
Okay.
And
so
I would say even the buttons and the stats, are they too close? Or
we can find out. Oh, dang.
yeah.
Zoom in.
16. Oh, okay.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 16. All right. Yep. A bit more, and it should.
I wonder. I'm gonna wait to change the margin between. I'm not gonna do anything in the buttons yet until we change this to a dotted line.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, I agree with you that we're definitely closer. We have less margin in the app right now than we do in the mockups.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm curious to see how it looks first with a dotted line compared to the solid line.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with the dotted line, it'll feel different. Like I know the spacing's going to be exactly the same, but it's one of those like just feel it.
Yeah. It's something you have to see. Yeah.
All right, so add 4 here, add 4 here. All right.
Yeah.
So those button layouts. So make that 16, and we need to. Where's our buttons? So we have to add another 4 there, and then the image, make it 12.
Yep. Okay. Let's see how.
Oh, we haven't run it on Android yet either.
Don't worry. I think Android is gonna play. It's gonna be playing nice with us.
I mean, honestly, like everything we've done should make the Android UI better, because and the Android UI was getting crunched more than the iOS UI, and all we've been doing is adding more spacing, padding, margins. So
yeah,
it should be better. But that being said, we'll say lesson learned from me. I always work in iOS, mostly just because I'm more familiar with it. Like if I was going to do a native app, I'd be way more fluent in iOS, or I am way more fluent in iOS than Android. And so I just kind of default to the iOS simulators, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, every time I think I'm done, like I'll do everything on iOS, then I'll pull it up on Android, and it's just like, ooh, like, we need to fix that.
And I think that's something good that complements us working together on this, because you know, I'm like an Android lover and you're like the iOS lover, so we can figure out stuff way more quickly and how it should look in each platform, because like we have our preferences with each of them, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
And even just the device you use. So like,
yeah,
I've used iPhones since the 3GS. So I think I got my first iPhone in 2010. So I've used nothing but iPhones for 10 years. I mean, I have Android devices to test on, but like you just become intimately familiar with the operating system, with how things should feel and look. That you just like when it comes to Android, I'm just kind of guessing.
So, same here for iOS.
But yeah, man, totally agree that like it's great to have each other to play that off of.
Yeah. But libraries. I feel like the buttons are getting smaller. No, I'm going crazy. I think the buttons are smaller than the mockups.
The buttons did get smaller. Look at we took this screenshot.
You
let's
see?
yeah. Oh yeah. 60.
Yeah, for some reason, like the buttons, I don't know why their size is changing.
I must have forgot to increase the row size when we were adding in that margin.
Mm,
I thought I
okay.
did, but nah.
It's okay. This is all part of the process we were in right now. Uh, and I would
Yeah.
say this is definitely like what actually
Oh
makes
yeah.
the difference. Oh, you see? Now we got our our
Ooh, and we
button
should
sizes back.
add. I'm gonna add some more horizontal padding on that. So what I'm talking about is see how much padding we have here.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
was
yeah,
playing
yeah.
around with this before, and I purposely shrunk that because the text wouldn't fit. But now that we've just made them bigger, I don't need to do that anymore. So
Yeah.
where was that? This was an about page button. About page button. Horizontal. Ooh, let's see. Ah, wrong button. There we go. So that should be 16. Yeah, 16 on.
Yep. 16 on both sides.
Yeah. I think that's. Oh, that's vertical.
No, yeah, that's top and bottom.
I named that SVG Sparkle.
Nice.
Yeah, because I was like, what do I name this? Because I could call it like request new feature.svg, but something I noticed that I did early on was I named the SVG to be how we used it, not necessarily how it
Yeah.
looks. And so like some of them still make sense, like for the forks, repos forks for stars, star.
Mm-hmm.
But then like for watching, unique views.
Yeah.
And like, I probably should have done a better job naming that. Get out
I
of
mean,
here, System UI.
I mean, in that case for watching, we're reusing
Ooh.
a research. Oh, that looks
That
perfect.
looks so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. These obviously need to be dots instead of solid lines.
Yeah. And vertically.
This spacing
Yeah,
should
there's
be equal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Nice. Collaborators, I think, looks good there already.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I see what you're going for now. Like this extra spacing
Mm-hmm.
almost separates it. Like it's almost like this is a
One
header.
section. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's another section. And then you see, because between collaborators and library, you have like the same spacing as well. So it, like visually, your mind sees it as sections. So that's why the spacing is so important. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think
Yep.
I'm just looking at this for
The
spacing.
challenge there.
Oh man, that's gonna be
We'll figure it
that's
out.
gonna be a whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but-
there's tons of different ways to go about it, but
yeah.
yeah, I think like that's the only thing left to conquer. And then it's just put the text in here that we actually want.
Yeah.
The text we want to ship the app with.
Yeah.
And once that's done, we'll just need to get the translations in. So
Yeah.
speaking of our collaborators, so Bryce, Alex, Gerald, well, Veronica,
Start trans.
we'll be hitting you up.
Yeah.
Coming after you soon.
Some spoilers there.
It's
So-
funny, man. Bryce actually commented on. I opened up an issue on the repo because we shipped version 2 with the totals button, which is great. I love the totals button, but we forgot to translate it.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So I opened up this issue because like this was a production issue, and yeah, Bryce just commented on it today. He's like, hey, sorry, I just saw it. I was like, well, hey, first of all, don't worry about it because I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't like assign it to you. I didn't loop you in at all. But
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, no worries. Like I've got a bunch more translations coming your way, so stay tuned. But
Yeah. Like, I didn't even
really close.
notice we didn't translate it because, like, for example, in Spanish, total is just exactly the same. Like you're gonna
Nah.
assign it to me, I'm gonna be like, okay, copy paste, it's done. Because it's the
Nice.
same. But yeah, I think we did some really, really good progress on the stream in terms of polishing the UI. I definitely enjoyed some of the stuff we showcased in this stream. Definitely, we did not focus a lot like on coding wise, I would say, but we did have a good overview of everything you did for that awesome backend you did for the libraries. We also
Even
practiced
fixed the bug in
on
it.
yeah,
The
yeah.
duplicate Nuget packages. That won't happen anymore.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
and oh wait, yeah. Are you compiling it? Yeah. I forgot to check that. Like we just we fixed it and we didn't even look at it. We were like, yeah, that's right. Like we
Oh,
didn't scroll. Yeah,
I
we
didn't
didn't.
push it to Azure. So we fixed the bug, but
Mm.
I have to publish the update to the Azure Functions, and
Oh yeah, yeah. So when it runs, oh,
yeah,
and it's gonna run. So we're gonna have to wait a day for it to run. Or when you publish it, does it trigger immediately or not?
I mean, I can trigger it immediately. So,
Yeah, I have the
but
power.
that's right. Yeah. Oh no, view on GitHub.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Dang. So, yeah, remember how I was saying I do everything on iOS and then see how it looks on Android?
Yeah.
So when I was playing with the padding, because these are actually just labels. So it's labels with a background color and text on it.
Oh, okay.
And then I added a tap gesture recognizer so you can tap on it. But yeah, on iOS, like the font kept getting truncated or the text kept getting truncated. So that's
Yeah.
why I kept like narrowing the padding. And
Okay.
so yeah,
And
maybe this is like a on iOS, less padding on Android, keep the
yeah,
padding. We could shrink the font size, but I don't know if I want
no.
to do that because the font is already so much smaller than the icon
Yeah.
that if because the font will shrink both vertically and horizontally. Um,
Yeah.
meh.
It's okay. We can tackle all of those minor tweaks next Wednesday because this is literally a rabbit hole. This phase of the project. So if we keep like, okay, let me add two more here, two more there, we're gonna continue. It's
Yeah.
a quick compile, but I think we're already around 12 minutes over from our live stream. Definitely a lot of progress. I really like how it's coming out. And yeah, what do we have coming up? Maybe some events this upcoming week. I know tomorrow in the Net Dominicana, we have our second week for the Azure for Devs workshop that Angel Garcia and myself are hosting basically. And oh, it was just giving you guys a bit of feedback on how it went for the first session last week. It was great. We have a lot of great folks. We had like 72 attendees in that workshop from all over Latin America. We have people from Argentina, Bolivia, Honduras, which was really heartwarming to see. That even in these hard times, a benefit the communities have had of doing everything online is that now your community is not only limited to your local community members, but also other communities that speak your same language can have access to that information and also want to share with your members. So the networking has increased and new relationships are being made, right? So I definitely am liking how the workshop is coming out, and they are already practicing to get their certifications. So if you speak Spanish and you're interested in the and in that Azure workshop, you can join this Saturday tomorrow. It's at 8 a.m. Eastern time. In Dominican Republic, it's 9 a.m. And yeah, join and we'll see you there tomorrow. Do we have anything else? Any other event coming up, random that you know of?
No, I was actually just looking. I was checking my calendar and seeing what's going on next week. I don't have anything on my calendar. So that doesn't mean nothing's going on though. So if anybody knows, yeah, feel free to tweet at us, let us know.
Yep.
But I think we'll be back on Wednesday,
Yep.
and that might be.
Don't say it. That's it. We always say it's gonna be probably the last day. Then we come to the stream and we're like, okay, we need another week.
Really close. I mean, if nothing else, something that's going to have to be done is the translations, and
yeah,
you've been doing the Spanish translation, so we could have a whole episode even just devoted to regex and how all that stuff works. And so I would definitely want still got plenty of stuff to share.
Refresh to the community how like the cool I would say configuration you did for the regex, and basically you just made them like depend between each other, and that makes them collapse in the Visual Studio, so you don't have all these files just in your face. Yeah, it's really nice. So I think they're gonna love that when we see it again.
Oh yeah, because we easily have over 100 regex files.
Yeah.
Because what do we support? 8 different languages?
9. Yep.
And then there's probably at least a dozen regex files. So yeah, like
per language.
Yeah, we easily have. I just meant like in general. So we have one for like each page. We have one for like. There's a lot of regex files. So stay tuned to figure out how to manage all your regex files.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for coming. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday and your weekend, and see you next week. Goodbye.